Hello, Internet. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. In the NBA, the Utah Jazz are off to a slow start. What's going wrong with the Utah Jazz, and what can we do to fix it?
And the University of Utah travels to Seattle to take on the undefeated Washington Huskies. Do they got a chance to take them down?
In Major League Baseball, the Texas Rangers get their first World Series championship in franchise history. With the hot stove just around the corner and free agency about to start and the winter meetings starting next month, where's everybody going to end up? All that and more. My name is Darren. That is AJ, and this is the DNA Sports Recap.
Roll the intro.
How's it going, AJ?
Doing good, buddy. Doing good. Busy week. How about you?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Well, of course, just like we called it, in our previous video. I don't know if anybody watched the Major League Baseball portion of our show last week. If you caught just the video, or if you listened to the podcast or watched the podcast, basically right as the show was over, right as we wrapped, the Rangers won their first World Series title. So
they did. Congratulations, Texas.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and let's start with. Do you want to start there since we're talking about it already?
Yeah, roll into it, man.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk Major League Baseball, shall we?
Yep.
Okay. So again, first off, congratulations to the Rangers. Hats off to you guys. Did you catch any of the games at all, or World Series?
I watched some of the recap, but I didn't see any of the full games actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Corey Seager won the World Series MVP, which
pretty cool.
Very cool. Which he actually becomes the first player in Major League Baseball history to win the World Series MVP in both the AL and the NL.
Really?
Yep. Which is pretty crazy.
Super crazy.
Very, very cool.
I like it.
Very, very cool. Which is really funny because Jacob deGrom in his meeting availability before the season started, when they were doing the whole, we signed him, and he's like, oh, their path to win is, we're like, basically the goal here is a World Series championship. And everybody just kind of laughed at him in his own press conference. Who's laughing now? I mean, obviously he didn't pitch at all this season. He got Tommy John in the spring training, but the fact that they actually won the World Series this year, that's pretty impressive. Right?
The Rangers made it happen, man. I don't know. I mean, just watching some of those early wild card games, like they just pulled it out. They just continued to go and fight, and they deserved it.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
Yeah.
Another fun little stat about the World Series. Here's another one. Every year since 2020, a player named Will Smith has won a World Series ring.
No way.
Yeah, and
but the problem is that the Will Smith hasn't won a World Series ring.
The Will Smith, if you're talking about the catchers from the Dodgers, yes, he won a World Series ring.
I'm talking Will Smith, the actor.
No, you can't pin slap your way into a World Series ring. I'm sorry, that's just not how that works. So, but the catcher for the Dodgers, who was a All-Star the first time this year, he actually won the World Series in 2020, which is really funny because in the National League Championship, Will Smith hit a home run off of Will Smith to put the Dodgers ahead, to basically put him in a chance to win and go to the World Series in 2020.
No way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
So the Will Smith that he hit a home run, he's actually won a ring with every team he's been with since then. So
how would it be, huh?
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, I win.
Exactly. So he won. So the Will Smith, the catcher, won the World Series championship with the Dodgers in 2020 in the MLB shortened season. And then in 2021, he won the ring and then in 2021, he won it with the Braves. And then in 2022, he was on the Houston Astros, and he won a ring with them. And then now he was on Texas Rangers. And
Four-time world champion Will Smith.
Four-time world champion Will Smith. Yep.
He's got the juice, man. He's got what it takes to win it.
He's got it. Doesn't even have to wear a pearl necklace or anything.
Nope.
If you know, you know. So all my baseball fans, you know exactly what I meant by that one. Especially Braves fans. Actually, Braves fans should know that one. Jock Peterson, Jocktober. You know what I'm talking about there. But yeah, I thought that was super awesome that they got that win, and that there's a Will Smith to win the world. He's got 4 rings, man. 4 rings. That is insane. Four different teams.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. That's nuts.
That's a story for your grandkids right there.
Absolutely. So now, since then, obviously, there's been some news that came out in Major League Baseball. First off was going to be with the San Diego Padres. Did you hear the story at all?
No, I didn't.
So it came out that in September, the San Diego Padres found private financing for $100 million. They had to borrow $100 million, and they asked MLB permission, because apparently you have to ask the league permission to borrow money.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Which is weird, but apparently you have to do it. So they asked Major League Baseball if they could borrow $100 million, and they only allowed them to borrow $50 million. So the $50 million is what they borrowed, and believe it or not, the reason why they had to do it is they needed it so they can make payroll.
$50 million to make payroll?
Yeah, they had to borrow money so they can meet payroll, among other financial obligations the organization needed. So yeah, pretty crazy. So there's a lot of talks on that. Now, obviously, if you think about it, last offseason, they signed Xander Bogaerts to an 11-year, $280 million contract. They signed Yu Darvish to a 6-year, $108 million contract extension. They signed third baseman, friend of the channel, Manny Machado, to an 11-year, $350 million contract. So they've been selling out some money.
They do have some payroll to pay.
Yeah, they were one of the top payrolls in all baseball. And they're in the top 3. I think it was. Wait, they're the top payroll in baseball, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they were.
I think they were.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely in the top 3 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in the top 3 of payroll of baseball. And yeah, they actually they're saying, well, while this isn't a crisis, they did have to borrow money in order to meet payroll. This has started a lot of speculation in the baseball world to thinking that they're going to have to trade Juan Soto sometime during the offseason or before the trade deadline.
Just a little too much payroll, maybe.
Just to set some payroll, yeah. Which is unfortunate because you traded the what was left of your great farm system to get Juan Soto in the first place.
Right.
So just to have to trade him, for half a season, half a year rental, basically, or sorry, 1 year rental. Yeah, that's just not good. And the worst part is they had the second highest in attendance last year, and they had
people show up for those games, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's only one team that had higher attendance with them than last year, and I don't need to tell you who that team is because you already know.
Is it the Dodgers?
Yes, of course.
I was going to say the Phillies.
No.
Phillies have crazy attendance.
They have crazy, and they have crazy fans. I absolutely love Philly fans. They go overboard, and I absolutely love that about that team. Philly fans, you guys know what you're doing out there, so keep it up. But yeah, I found that very crazy. And then they're losing one of their top pitchers. Blake Snell is going to be in the free agency list, which we're going to cover here in a minute. But yeah, so just not a good time. They were expected to win not only just the NL West, but to win the National League this year, and to not even make the playoffs, and then have to borrow money to cover payroll.
Well, it's probably because they were banking on some of that playoff money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so. But, and, they had the second highest in attendance, so it's not like people weren't showing up to games. Right. So I don't know. Quite crazy to hear for sure. Now, as far as another thing I want to touch on is there's the vote that's supposed to go down this month for whether or not the Oakland A's can relocate.
Oh, okay.
If for some reason the MLB can really screw over the Oakland A's here on this, if they decide to not vote this month and kick the can down the road a little bit, like let's say, oh no, we don't, we're not going to talk about this right now. We need to still gather more information. If they don't get something in line by when the winter meetings start at the beginning of December, they lose their competitive tax contribution.
Oh, ouch.
Which is the only reason why the Angels even exist with their current ownership group right now, so they can get that sweet tax money, that the competitive tax they pay, that people who pay over the salary cap have to pay all the teams that are under the salary cap money.
Right.
That's basically how the A's are remaining profitable, is doing it that way. And so, they're going to lose that eligibility and also lose draft picks. So if the Major League Baseball wants to really screw them over, they can, by saying, "Nah, we're just going to hold this vote off for another month."
That's rough, dude.
Yeah,
that's real rough.
Yeah. So not only are they holding it up, the relocation, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that can happen. So
when do we find out on? Does the MLB vote on expansion, or how does that work?
Yeah. So there's a committee that can vote on it. They can approve them, and that's going to happen sometime this month.
Oh, okay.
That they're meaning to have that vote. In fact, I think it's any day now, actually. But then from that,
that'd be a good one to talk about here in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys leave a comment down below. Let us know if you want to talk MLB expansion.
Yeah, because if that happens, then they can either relocate. And by the way, I'm not a big fan of the site they chose. Like,
oh no, it's terrible. The one in Vegas,
yeah,
terrible spot.
where they located. That's where the Tropicana is.
Yeah,
you know,
terrible spot.
You're right next to some, subsidized housing apartment complex, and there's a church there, I guess. But I don't know, man. There's plenty of other places in Vegas that would be better. And actually, there was watched a video on them actually being able to find a really good spot in the waterfront in Oakland to stay where they are. And it was pretty nice looking. I would, if I was them, I'd pick to stay there. But
you'd think if they picked one of those nice areas like in Oakland to put a stadium, I bet you people would turn up, because where the stadium's at now is like,
no, it's a hole. It's overrun by possums, but it's not the
there's
not
possums. Check out our previous video on Oakland's possum situation.
Yeah, which was weird because it was our first video to really take off on the channel. So it's kind of funny. We got apparently Oakland Utes fans.
People love possums. Oh, sorry. I mean the Oakland A's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's never been the fans. The fans will show up. It's never been the fans that are the issue. It's the ownership group that's really kind of just doing a terrible job and getting things going over there. So,
right.
But yeah, so more to come on that. We'll definitely keep you guys updated on that as it comes. But thought that was pretty interesting. Latest news over the last couple of days is the Chicago Cubs have signed Craig Counsell, a long time, the longest tenured manager in the National League, from the Milwaukee Brewers. He's now signed a contract to join the Chicago Cubs. It's a 5-year, $40 million contract, which makes him the highest paid manager in Major League Baseball history.
5 years and $40 million is a pretty serious contract for a manager.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as much as some of these NFL managers get, and
but the NFL is the most profitable sports business.
True.
So
true. I would argue that the Major League Baseball is the highest paying contract over any other sport, though. Like the number one paying player in Major League Baseball is probably a higher paid player than, I guarantee you, Mike Trout's.
Not per game, though.
Probably not per game, no, but 10 years, 14 years, $350 million.
Long-term ridiculous money contracts.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just thought that was pretty weird that you don't have a manager that's making more than $10 million a year as a manager. I find that kind of interesting. But yeah, so anyway, Dave Ross was the manager for the Cubs since 2020, and he's been relieved of duties, and now you got Craig Counsell taking over in South Side. So at least I think it's where Chicago Cubs play in the South Side Chicago. I don't know. Not big. Don't know a lot about Chicago, but he's going to be in Wrigley, basically. So, yeah, found that quite interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So we're starting to see some movement going on there. So I have the top 10 free agents coming for you. So we already know the number one free agent. We'll definitely get into that again. And, I did put a previous video on where we think he's going to go.
Yep.
I stand by my selection there. Yep. On where I think Mr. Ohtani is going to end up at. I think we'll probably update. I'll probably restate it here, but it's pretty much the same. Number 10 is Matt Chapman. He is a third baseman. I believe he played for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's cracks in the top 10 as a free agent. So again, he's a little bit on the older side there, but he is coming up as a free agent. There's plenty of teams that would want a third baseman, but including the Dodgers. But as far as where he ends up, not so sure. A lot of teams are basically putting him with the Dodgers, the Blue Jays, re-signing with the Blue Jays, or signing with the Yankees. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, Matt Chapman. Number 9, we have JD Martinez. He is the designated hitter for the Los Angeles Dodgers, age 36. He is looking probably to either go with the Mets, Dodgers, or Angels. Where he ends up is probably going to be more likely depending on where Shohei Ohtani ends up. If the Dodgers re-sign, let me put it this way: if the Dodgers sign JD Martinez, that means they missed out on Shohei Ohtani,
right?
Because that's basically where Ohtani is going to be playing. So we'll see there. But I can see the Angels or the Mets signing him. I think he'd be a good fit with either one of ththose teams for sure. Definitely an upgrade there. Jordan Montgomery, probably one of the better performing pitchers since the trade deadline. Since the, what was that? The
played really well.
Yeah, for Texas there. So he's going to be a free agent. He's 30, left-handed pitcher. He had a 2.79 ERA, turns 31 in December. He's probably going to get the bag from somebody.
Oh, someone's going to pay him that. Someone's going to pay that man.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Another great pitcher, Sonny Gray, number 7, right-handed pitcher, 34 years old. He had a 4.9 ERA. That's a little inflated. He just didn't get a lot of run support when it comes to out there in Minnesota. So Sonny Gray is a good pitcher. I see him signing a 2 to 3 year deal with somebody. MLB has him going to either the Braves, the Cardinals, or the Twins. I think he stays with Minnesota. I think he's got a good fit there. Pitched terrible for the Yankees and wasn't a good fit there. But
I don't think you want to switch. Like if you had a pretty good season, like you don't want to just go change ownership just to change ownership and deal with new teammates and all that kind of stuff. Hanging tight isn't a bad situation there.
No. Since 2022, he has a 2.9 ERA in 303 2/3 innings. So not bad. Definitely got a good spot for him there for sure. Josh Hader, the closer for the Padres, he's up for free agency. With the fact they had to borrow payroll, it's probably a good chance that he's not going to come back. So,
yep. Sorry, Hader, you did a great work for us, but we can't afford you.
Yeah, so he's definitely going to probably be. He's the most proven on the market right now. He's easily the best closer in baseball. He turns 30 in April. They say that he can either go to the Angels, Phillies, or Rangers. I definitely see him going to the Rangers if they want to run it back. The Phillies definitely, it was their closer that really kind of hosed him this year, which is Craig Crumble. His name's Craig Crumble, but I call him Crumble.
But he crumbled.
Yeah, he was a Dodgers closer, and he just was just the worst. So yeah, I see probably out of all those teams, I bet you more than anything he ends up either with the Phillies or the Rangers. It's probably a good call there. Number 5, another pitcher, a right-handed pitcher, Aaron Nola. He played for the Phillies this year, 31 years old. He had an all right season. I believe his ERA was, I don't have his ERA here. Oh, no, sorry. His ERA was 3.23 with over his tenure with the Phillies. So over about from 2017 to 2020. He won he was fourth in the Cy Young race in 2022. So probably one of his better years. You're definitely going to see a decline from that guy a little bit but they say he's probably either going to re-sign with the Phillies or go to the Giants. I think that'd be a great pickup for the Giants. But yeah, so that's number 5. Number 4 is Cody Bellinger. He had a one year prove it deal with the Chicago Cubs this year. Really turning around. He was batting well below the Mendoza line, and he was just out there for defense for the Dodgers for the last 2 years. And this year in Chicago, he batted .307. And he hit 26 home runs and 97 RBI in 130 games. So he's only 28 years old.
That's a really good turnaround for that young of a player.
Yeah. His dad played with the Yankees, so my guess is that he's probably going to end up signing there.
Would you take him back to the Dodgers?
No.
Gotcha.
No. He had a shot. He had a shot,
bro.
He was an MVP for the Dodgers. He did win an MVP. He had some great years.
I feel like he had some really good years with the Dodgers.
He was one of the big reasons why they won the World Series in 2020. He hit a game-winning home run over the Braves in the NLCS.
Go Braves.
And so he had some good years, but 2 years in a row where he batted below the Mendoza line and just did not perform well. That's
needed one of them prove it years, man.
He needed a change of scenery.
Yeah,
for sure. So I don't think I see him coming back. I do see the potential of him either re-signing with the Cubs. It's a good spot for him, or possibly the Yankees. I think is where he wants to be if the numbers work out.
Yeah.
So hopefully the Yankees get him because he'd be great at either first base, but Rizzo's got that spot locked down, or somewhere in the outfield. Number 3, we have Blake Snell. He's a left-handed pitcher, and my pick for the NL Cy Young Award this year. I think he's going to get it. Originally, in the beginning of the year, I said Zach Gallen, who did pitch well in the World Series. So I'm holding my hand on that one.
In the World Series.
But he ended up just dominating this year. Blake Snell's a tricky one, man. I mean, he's one of those players. He gave up 1 hit in the World Series to the Dodgers in 2020, and then the management pulled him. And then they ended up losing the game. They were winning, and then they ended up losing the game.
Look, you've done enough. Just kidding. Not quite enough.
Yeah.
Not quite enough.
And, he didn't like that. He wanted to finish the game, and I definitely agree with him on that one. But stats proven right, man. But anyway, Blake Snell, he is 1-6 with a 5.4 ERA. Actually, that can't be right. Oh, and it's after first 9 starts, he was 1-6 with a 5.9 ERA. And then after that, he completely shut it down. He ended up having a 1.2 ERA over his final 23 starts, which is insane.
Wow.
Yeah, he's odds-on favorite to win the Cy Young. They say either Cardinals, Dodgers, or Padres. I don't think the Padres re-sign him because obviously they have money issues. So I don't.
They're going to re-sign somebody, though. You know what I mean? It's not like they're just going to abandon their whole ship.
Well, I just ran off a bunch of players that they already signed to like these massively long deals.
Oh, I got you.
If they want to shed payroll and get any, you let your free agents walk first,
right?
And then kind of go from there. I mean, you could go, but there's
manage it for after you've shed some of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. I just think that's probably the easiest one. Let Blake Snell go and trade Soto and Josh Hader, and then you should be okay. I think that'd be addition by subtraction there, but possible fits with the MLB. They think either the Cardinals, the Dodgers, or the Padres. Again, if the Dodgers sign Blake Snell, I don't know. I don't think that's not necessarily the guy I want to have. He's going to command big money, and there's going to be some regression for him. So, I don't know. I don't really like the idea of the Dodgers getting him, but it wouldn't be the worst pickup in the world. Now, the top 2 free agents, guess what? Both Japanese players.
Surprised?
Not really. We got Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He is a right-handed pitcher from Japan. He plays for the Onyx Buffaloes, and he's been back-to-back Pacific League MVP honors in Japan, which is their version of the Cy Young, basically. He's also won the Triple Crown in the past 3 years, and he's got an immediate, when he comes over, he's going to be an immediate jump to your number 1 starter, basically, coming over. He's just that dominant. Potential fits, MLB has the Dodgers, Mets, and the Red Sox are the 3 teams that are up for him.
How would it be to be a Dodgers fan and you're on every one of these lists for potential free agents?
See, that's the problem, is the Dodgers are always on the list. And it doesn't matter if the player wants to go there or if the Dodgers are even in market for him. They'll just throw the Dodgers name in there just to jack at the price.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we had the Dodgers interested.
The Dodgers are definitely interested.
Yeah. It's annoying. It happens all the time. They put him in the list. And Shohei Ohtani, man, it was obvious he was going to play for an American League team. Yet he met with the Dodgers just to jack his price up a little higher.
Yep.
So I don't know. But yeah, so they say either the Mets, the Dodgers, or the Red Sox are going to be at where he be. I don't see the Red Sox pulling the trigger on this one. They missed the playoffs, and I don't think they're going to go sign an unproven Japanese. I mean, he's proven in Japan, but
right.
I don't know if that's a smart move there.
Without knowing his game's 100% going to transfer over, and you've seen him against MLB players.
Yeah,
it's questionable.
So I do see the Mets or the Dodgers going for him for sure. Perfect world in the offseason for the Dodgers is they sign both these top 2, right, and then I'll be a happy boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely see the potential of. I can see him being a Met. He does want to go to a large market team, unlike Shohei. He wants to be in a large market. So
who's the number 1?
Number 1 is Shohei Ohtani. So Shohei Ohtani is a free agent this year. Again, I'll recap my top 5 that I say the top 5 positions where I think he's going to go. Number 5 was he signs back with Anaheim.
Right.
Number 4 was he signs with the New York Mets. The reason why it's so far down is, again, all these teams are going to pay him the same amount of money, right? It's not about
as much as they possibly can.
He's going to get the same amount of money from all 5 of these teams. It's only whether or not he wants to go there or not. Number 5 was the staying home in Anaheim because it's just he's comfortable there. He's got things set the way he likes it there, but he does want to compete for a championship. He knows it's just not going to happen in Anaheim. So the first team I think he goes to, the number 4 team is going to be the New York Mets. They have the payroll. The only reason why I think it's so low is because he's made it quite evident that he wants to be on the West Coast because it's closer to Japan for fans to be able to come over and come
Absolutely.
See him. Number 3 was the Seattle Mariners. That was an American League team, so he still gets to, not that it matters because they're the DH is in the National League now too, but there is a history of Japanese players there. Yep. It is technically the closest to Japan as far as flights are concerned.
Yep, all flights run through Seattle.
Yep, and he does winter up there basically. So when he's on off season, he's up there. So I thought that was a strong case for number 3. Number 2 is the Los Angeles Dodgers. They also have a storied history of Japanese players with the franchise, and they do have a winning pedigree with that team. So, and the rumor was that he was going to sign with the Dodgers. The only thing that kept him from signing in the first place was the fact there wasn't a DH in the National League at the time. So,
because he wants to hit.
He wants to hit. Yeah. He wants to hit. He wants to pitch. So,
and that's all he'll do next year is just hit.
He'll just hit. Yeah. His arm's not going to be ready for anything. Like, it's not going to pull up Bryce Harper and take over first base and just lob it to the pitcher while he waits for his arm to recover. So, by the way, baller move, man. Bryce Harper, he's that dude, man. He is that dude. But yeah, number 1, I think the chances of the number 1 team. And by the way, I'm getting really mad because I'm seeing a lot of analysts hop on my bandwagon here. I had this first. I called this first. And
there's proof.
Yeah.
YouTube, there's proof.
We'll put the thumbnail around here somewhere. But I think the number 1 team to get him is going to be this. The number 1 likely chance to get him is the San Francisco Giants. They've missed on so many huge opportunities. Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, or Arson Judge, if you know, you know. They tried to get they signed what's his name, Carlos Correa, to the biggest contract in baseball history, just to have
And backed out.
and then backed out. And so they've been linked to almost every large big market. They need a superstar down there.
They're going all in.
They're going all in there.
Yeah.
Farhan Saidi needs to prove that he can run a team and he can do it. And yeah, so they're going to go with. They did say that nobody's going to outspend them when it comes to Shohei Ohtani. So
Right.
I think it's going to be their make or break. They're going to go for him hard, and I think that that's a likely place for him to land because it's again not necessarily the largest baseball market. He's going to be able to do his own thing, and play the way he wants to play, and it's still the West Coast, and yeah, so that's my top 5 for I think where Shohei's going to go.
Nice. I still want him to land in Seattle.
I think it's a good spot, man. I think it's a great spot.
Yeah.
Do I want to see him on the Dodgers? Absolutely. Do I want to handicap half of the payroll to get him there?
That's your question.
That's a very good question. I mean, you've had the best top 2 players in baseball on one team for the last 7 years, and they haven't even seen a playoff. So, you have
is
to
it really
consider
worth
that.
it?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's what I got on baseball. You got anything else?
That's what I got, brother.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on over. Let's move over to let's talk a little bit about University of Utah football, shall we?
I love Utah football.
All right,
it is game week, bro. Biggest game of the year right now.
Second biggest game of the year right now for the University of Utah.
The second biggest?
It would have been the first if they didn't lose to Oregon.
Well, it's their biggest game of the year at this point. After the loss to Oregon, this is the biggest game of the year.
It would have been the biggest game of the year if they didn't lose.
That's true.
But they did lose, but I don't know, man. This is eerily similar to the way it went down last year. So I'm not saying nothing.
There's always a chance, my friend.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. So yeah, the University of Utah heads up to Washington to play the Huskies. They right now, FanDuel Sportsbook has Washington as a 10.5 point favorite. The underline on this one is 55.5. Give me your take on this game going into it real quick. Go ahead.
A 10-point favorite?
Yes, 10.5.
Washington's got 10.5 on the Utes. Okay.
Yeah, FanDuel Sportsbook as of about 3.5 hours ago.
Okay. That is a little bit offensive, in my opinion. Let me just start out with saying this Washington Huskies team is ridiculous. Okay. I've watched a lot of Washington Huskies football this year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. I've probably watched the last 4 or 5 games all the way through every single minute.
It's been entertaining football to watch, man, for sure.
They are crazy. I mean, they score the ball like crazy. Their defense isn't fantastic, but they can lay it on in layers, and Penix is ridiculous. He's going to put you out there. He's going to give you a chance to be in every single ball game. So with that being said, the keys for the Utes to win this game, for them to have any chance, in my opinion, keep Michael Penix off the football field. The Utes are still number 1 in the country in time of possession, and they have to use that stat to their advantage this week. Because if Michael Penix is on the field, they're going to be scoring points. That's what they do. They did it last week against USC. I mean, did you watch any of the Washington USC game?
I did.
It was an absolute just slugfest for offense, dude. There was zero defense in that game, period. It was whoever got one stop was winning.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was back and forth, and then maybe stop, and then back and forth and back. And Washington ended up getting 2 stops and won the football game by 10. So they're really talented. They've got some really, really good receivers. Like I said, Michael Penix Jr. He's the passing yards leader in the country right now with 3,201. They've got the number 4 scoring offense at 41.7 yards per game. These guys are tied for 6th in the country for, tackles for loss allowed. So they've got a really good offensive line. This is going to be a very tough game for the Utes. Very, very tough game for the Utes.
No, I agree. Again, it pretty much speaks for itself right now. It's not like they haven't played anybody,
right?
So
yeah,
they beat Oregon. They've definitely, they played some people.
And that's the thing is, they beat an Oregon team that absolutely demolished the Utes just 2 weeks ago. But it was also an offensive kind of slugfest. They were at home, so they had that advantage. The Utes are going to come ready to play for this one. This is their season right now. Because if the Utes lose any more games, their chance for a Pac-12 championship's absolutely over. As of right now, there's still an equation that gets them there. They've got to beat Washington. Oregon State needs to continue to win and then beat Washington, and then they also have to lose a game or something like that. Like
Yeah,
It's kind of crazy, but like you said, last year it was the exact same thing, and the Utes ended up there and they made it happen.
Yeah, to me, it's going to be the same thing. It's similar to that. We're in a situation now that we say that we were last year at this time.
Yep.
Where we have 2 conference losses, and the Utes were in the position to control their own destiny, and they basically took care of business when they could, and just hoped that the rest of the chips fell in their lap, and they did.
Yep.
So I remember being a long shot, but it still happened. And you're absolutely right. That what I think here, as far as the key to this game, is this one is oddly familiar to the Utah USC game.
I agree.
The Utes are on the road, and they're playing a team that just is not good defensively.
Correct.
Just not good defensively. Great offense. One of the highest powered. The exact same. If you go back and watch our USC breakdown, a lot of what you just said is a lot of what you said there too. Like they have one of the highest rated offenses. They're getting points in the board and everything. It's very, very similar.
Yep.
So again, I'm not saying that I'm not calling an upset here, but I would say exactly to your point there. Again, Washington has the number 1 passing offense in the conference versus the number 1 passing defense in the conference. So you got 1-for-1 matching up this week. The Washington is 124th in passing defense and 122nd in yards given up per game, and they're averaging 37.5 points per game this season.
Yep. So
their defense is not great, man.
No, their defense really struggles. They can't stop the run. They will allow you to throw it over their head. And like I said, if we can run the ball and control the time of possession and just score points, right? You've got to get down. Even if you're getting 3 in some of these times, if you can burn 8 minutes and score 3, that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're going to need touchdowns to beat Washington, but burning clock and controlling the possession is going to be key for Utah to get out of there with a win. Utah does still lead the country in third down percentage on defense. So if we can force them into some of these 3rd and long positions, we've got a good chance at getting some stops and again, getting Michael Penix back off the field. We want that defense out there. That's the Utes' path to victory.
Yeah. That's the key to my game as well. I said the keys to Utes winning this one is to keep Washington off the field there. There, like I said, a lot of similarities between USC and Washington when it comes to the defensive end. I would rate Washington's defense a little bit better than USC's defense 3 weeks ago. But if Bryson Bars can come out firing like he did against Arizona State, and jump onto an early lead and then just keep the offense off the field, I think they're in a great spot.
I think something to remember is that Arizona State team gave this Washington team everything they could handle 3 weeks ago. I mean, they were looking upset time.
Yeah, the highlights were in our last video from the Washington game.
Yeah, I mean, and it was rough, dude. Washington was struggling; they couldn't get anything going, and that Arizona State defense is very tough, right? They're hard nosed. They play physical. Their passing defense isn't. They're not top rated in the country like the Utes is, but and Michael Penix still struggled to really get the ball into some of the spots because Arizona State was able to get home.
Right.
The Utes are going to be better than that.
Absolutely.
So if you can continue to rush 4 and drop 7 guys into coverage, the Utes will have a chance to hold Penix. And if they can hold him and get him back off the field, there's a path for victory there. That's my opinion. Yeah,
there is a path for victory there. I 100% agree. I just think, obviously the Utes defense is going to be way better than Arizona State's defense. They're not going to say, but obviously on the flip side of it, Washington's defense is going to be better than what you saw against Arizona State. So as long as Bryson Barnes comes out with the momentum that he had last week and, they get a couple of scoring plays early, get the lead, I think there's something that they can definitely maintain and hopefully come out with an upset. I think it's definitely possible. Likely,
I sure hope so, because I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'll be there. So the Utes need to win.
That's
Just
right.
telling you guys.
That's right. We need more W's.
Yes.
When you're attending games.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Unfortunately, I've been to a few Jazz games this year and it's not gone well.
Yeah. Anyway, go Utes. You got anything else?
No, man, I'm excited. This is going to be a fantastic game. Make sure you guys leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you think. Can the Utes take down Washington?
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know. Keep in mind, folks, we are on the grind to 1,000 subscribers. Not 100. That'd be we're on the grind to 1,000 subscribers. Yeah. We are giving away the first $500 we earn in YouTube AdSense revenue back to our subscribers. 5 lucky subscribers will each earn $100. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on that opportunity. And let us know in the comments down below what you think about Utes' chances of winning this week. are you taking the over under on the 55.5? I'm actually going to take the under on this one. I think it's going to be under.
I think it's gonna. If I am hoping for a Utes win, so I need it to be under, because if anybody scores that many points, we could be in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on over to the Utah Jazz, shall we?
Oh man, yes sir.
Okay, so
yes sir.
Let's talk Utah Jazz basketball now. Man, are they off to a slow start? 2-6 so far before tip off tonight, which is Wednesday, November something or other, the 8th of November. They have a game tonight. They're in the middle of a road trip. 2-6 record. What do you think so far about your Utah Jazz? What's standing out to you? What's the problem?
The biggest problem is their defense is absolutely atrocious, and they can't stop anybody. I'm not sure what's up with Will Hardy and throwing these guys into these zone defense looks, but it's been horrible, dude. The problem is when you're in zone, you need to be able to sag off and help a driving player, and no one's sagging off to help with anything, right? All that's happening is they're dropping back a little bit, and then after they drop back a little bit, they're just leaving these corner guys wide open. And I was going to pull the stat and see, because I'm very curious to see what teams are shooting from the three against the Jazz, because I'm guessing it's fantastic. I'm guessing they're probably shooting just ridiculous stats against the Jazz because their defense has been horrible.
So as far as their defensive rating right now, yes, it is terrible. They're number 26th in the league when it comes to defensive rating. It's 120. They're allowing 120.1 points per game, and they're only averaging about 110 points per game scored, somewhere around there, 114, something like that. It's not great.
Yeah, a -9 on the net.
Yeah. Not great. So, and how much of this is due to the first of all, I want to point out something. The Jazz's first game against Sacramento, when what's his name did that dirty play and hyperextended Walker Kessler's elbow.
Who's now out?
He's expected not to play today due to elbow inflammation. So yeah, that was just a dirty play, and I can't believe they got away with it. It blows my mind. But
I mean, unfortunately, and I love Walker Kessler, and I think he's been a fantastic tool. You can tell he's been playing hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell he's in some discomfort. He's not playing a ton of minutes, and he has not been super productive. I mean, his usage rate's down around 12%, which is, I mean, really bottom half of the league for a guy that was, a huge part. I mean, he's one of our building blocks for this Jazz team, right? So he's way down there. He hasn't looked good, man. He can't get shots together. Like he's just really struggled.
Except for that corner three, man.
The very first game, he makes a corner three, and you're like, this is the guy we needed right here. Walker Kessler has come to save us.
All the guys in the comments make cracking jokes about him being able to step out and hit a few jumpers.
Yeah.
Just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, guys, I'm just saying. No, my issue here is with this is obviously there's going to be, defense is terrible, but the turnovers, man, the turnovers are just insane. This is sloppy play that's coming in. They're not running an offense. At least they're not really running an offense efficiently.
Yeah.
You got, we joked about it. They have a plethora of people at the guard line, but I think the biggest problem is we don't have a true point guard. THT is a shooting guard masquerading as a point guard to start the season. And he needs to learn how to play the point guard position, or there's really just not a spot in the NBA for him. He needs to figure this out.
Yeah. I mean, THT needs to keep his head up while he's dribbling, right? He's got to be looking for someone to pass the ball to, instead of just dropping his head, going full speed to the basket and hoping somebody's grabbing his rebound, because he's not even that efficient of a scorer at this point.
No, that's Clarkson's job, who's also having a down year so far.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
Way below his averages. I mean, the Jazz are turning the ball over on offense 17.5% of the time currently, which is 29th in the league out of 30 teams.
Yeah, that's 30 teams, guys.
Yeah,
those are counting.
So that is not a great turnover percentage. That's like 1 in 6 possessions. So we could definitely be doing much better on the turnover spot. But we've got to figure out the defense, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've got to generate some more turnovers on defense. They're actually last in generating or second to last in generating turnovers. They're 28th in the league at 12.9%. So they're not doing great on generating turnovers as well. So when you're turning the ball over a lot and you're not turning the ball over on getting turnovers on defense, it leads to some of these blowouts that we've seen. And it's it's been really tough to watch as a Jazz fan because they'll go through these 4 or 5 minute streaks with a couple of players, and you're just like, this is the team that could actually be something this year.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, one of my favorite lineups that was on the court was a game that I was at a couple of weeks ago, and they had Omer Yurtseven on the court, and then they also had John Collins, and I think they had THT, Jordan Clarkson, and then they also had Colin Sexton. So it was like, I don't know, man. Those guys just straight. No, actually, sorry, it wasn't Sexton. It was Keontae George.
Okay.
Yeah, but those guys were running up and down. They had good energy. Like, they were a fun group to watch because they were actually playing like they wanted to win a basketball game. Every one of them. It was effort plays all the way. And I haven't seen it since then.
Yeah. On offense, you got Larry Markkinen, who's doing his job. But the problem is everybody knows he's the first option, and he's not getting the opportunities or getting the looks that he needs to get. And he's not getting the spacing that he needs to get either because we don't have any threats from shooting right now. Honestly, I thought you and I both thought Kristen would be a good option, but obviously the Jazz coaching staff see something in him because his minutes have gone down. He's averaging only 12 minutes a game, 13 minutes a game now. It's his usage rate has dropped. I got to tell you, man, the eyeball test, and I don't have any stats to back this one up. This is just me watching every Jazz game and wanting to, turn off the Jazz game every single game that I've watched a lot this year, man, except for the Clippers game. That was a pretty good one. But the person I think I had the most confidence running the offense is Kelly Olynyk.
Dude, right?
He seems to be the only guy who has the ability to read the court.
Yeah. How is it that Kelly Olynyk, a 7-foot tall big man, is our best passer and facilitator? Just blows me away. Not to mention he's actually shot the ball really well this year.
Yeah, he's shooting really well. Yeah. He's shooting over, I believe, he's shooting over 60% from the field, 46% from three, and his turnover rate's actually down for his. He's at 1.8, I believe. 1.8 turnovers, which is below from last year. He's averaging
Kelly Olynyk's his turnover rate's currently 20.5% is what I show.
Yeah, his average turnover is 1.8. Like he's averaging 2 turnovers a game. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not doing percentage on turnovers.
I gotcha.
Yeah. But I tell me that Jordan Clarkson or THT isn't higher on that.
Jordan Clarkson is currently turning the ball over in 17.5% of his possessions.
Okay, so it is lower than what Kelly Olynyk is doing.
It is less.
That's why I'm telling you, man. It's just an eyeball test from what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
it's probably just a percent numbers wise. Like he's probably getting more opportunities than Kelly Olynyk's getting to facilitate. But
yeah,
I tell you, man, that's
the best 2 players on the team right now in turnover percentage are John Collins and Ochai Agbaji, followed by Lauri Markkinen,
which is weird.
Yeah, but
it's weird to have
Collins takes really good care of the ball, dude.
He's just afraid of the paint.
He's a little afraid of the paint, but he takes good care of it. You know what I mean? Like, but also he doesn't pass the ball.
No.
If John Collins has a little bit of a black hole. If it's going to him, he's shooting it.
So and again, I don't know if everybody just missed introductions at the beginning of the year, but those are 2 players that are trying to take over JC's job there. He's the black hole. He's the one where you pass the ball to and he doesn't go anywhere.
Yep.
And he's also the one that's going to have his head down running into the paint. That's his job. Those are his jobs. We don't need anybody else in the team doing that.
Yeah, but to go to your point though, Kelly Olynyk has the second highest assist percentage, 27.8 of his possessions and in assists. So that's really good. Talon Horton-Tucker is actually leading the team, 33.6. That's one of the highest in the league. Actually,
I'm telling you, when you look at it though, the stats look great, but it does not look good on the court, man.
Yeah,
it does not look good on the court.
He's also Talon Horton-Tucker is also the highest usage in his career so far.
He's just not running the offense, man. Like
last year was actually his highest usage.
If he doesn't hit his first shot, the ball he will like try and he doesn't command the offense. He'll stand there with a dribble in the top of the key, wait for a screen, and the movement of the ball stops and everybody just stands there. He does it for some reason. I don't know what it is. He hasn't quite figured out the point guard position yet. And honestly, I don't think Keontae is ready at this point. Unfortunately, I mean, he has spurts. He has, I would argue though, if we're going to play this way, he should be our starting point guard at this point.
I think some starting, not even starting minutes. Okay. And I don't even agree with giving him all the starting minutes, but he's up to 19.7 minutes per game.
Right.
That's quite a bit for a rookie. I mean, I'd like to see what that is in the league, right? Minutes per game for rookies, because
it's the highest playing rookie we have.
I mean, absolutely. So to get Keontae up into that 20 minutes a game, into the 25 minutes a game where he's getting some of these reps, dude, the game has to slow down for Keontae to be effective because he still just stands there dribbling the basketball way more than he needs to.
Yeah.
Like the Jazz don't run set offenses, I don't feel like. They might have a couple different like motions and stuff they go through, but it's not like Quinn Snyder when they came up the court and every single person on the court knew exactly where they were supposed to be, what the motion was, and the two options on the passes. It was clockwork every single time, and they ran a really efficient. They were trying to get high percentage shots, and that's what Quinn Snyder's offense did. Will Hardy's offenses are not doing that. No. We don't have anybody that can create their own shots. We're setting screens and trying to move and get guys open, but there's nowhere that you're just supposed to be, right? Like in the Quinn Hardy offenses, there's supposed to be a guy in the corner and a guy on the wing. If you drive to the basket, you have two places to outlet the ball. If anybody collapses, you pick whoever collapsed on you and the ball goes there and they shoot it.
Yeah. Yeah. You can count.
That's just not the case with Will Hardy's offense.
You can actually count a lot of turnovers where they threw the ball to nobody because they are expecting somebody to be
just
there.
Nobody. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're
on the other side of the court in that spot. You're just like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. To my point though, I mean, if you're going to, with Keontae George, I still think the world of this kid. I think he's going to be a superstar in this league. I think he's got the best potential on anybody on this team right now to be an all-star, a perennial all-star. However, he's obviously not ready, at least not right now. Yeah. So I don't think he's the solution as point guard. But honestly, on our team, we don't have a solution at point guard right now as it sits.
No, and when your rookie point guard is your best option, you know what I mean? As far as like just passing the eye test, like you said, Talon Horton Tucker, he's got some stats that are showing that he's playing okay, but passing the eye test, we don't have anybody that just gets on the court besides Keontae George that gets on the court and just like, wow, they're actually moving it. They're getting us into the spots we need to be. Everyone kind of seems like they know what they're doing. We don't have anybody like that right now. No. And I would struggle to say we don't have anybody even running the team right now. No. Lauri Markkanen's fantastic, but I don't know if he has enough of a voice that when, we miss 2 or 3 shots and we go down 8 points and he's in the huddle, like we need to get it together.
Right.
You know what I mean? We need a bucket. Let's go out there. Let's play tough D for 3 or 4 possessions. Let's get back in this thing. There's nobody doing that.
No, unfortunately, we traded that away last year. So
Mike Conley.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think the Jazz need it. If they do, I think we're getting exactly what we talked about. First 10 to 20 games in, we're going to know which way this team's going. Either A, they're going for a high draft pick, or B, they're going to be trying to getting into the play-in tournament. And right now, it's clearly telling me that's not the direction they're playing. They're not trying to get to a playoff tournament. A play-in tournament. I think what they're trying to do is see what they got out of these rookies, see what they got out of this young talent before they fire sale. So hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully they turn it around and find somebody that they can trade, like an established point guard that can really facilitate the offense right now. But right now, I just don't see, I hope that THT figures it out because he needs to. Because honestly, a guy his size, 6'4", 220, head down.
The dude's a monster.
He's a great player, but he's not the right size for a point guard in the modern NBA right now.
Correct. And he's really he's not shooting it great either. I mean, he's only shooting 32% from 3 right now. And you just need a little bit more than that because he's not a 3-point threat at 32.3%.
Yeah.
Right? He's in the bottom half of the league. Like he's in the 25th percentile for shooters from the 3-point land. And that makes it really tough to be an effective point guard if they can sag off of you and your best move is to go to the hoop, right? They don't have to get up on you to guard a shot because they know you're going to the basket.
Yeah, that was what's his name? That's the problem we had with what's his name?
Ricky Rubio.
Yeah, Rubio.
I loved Ricky Rubio.
Guy couldn't shoot, and so people would just slack off on him. And then, when you have Ricky Rubio and you already had Rudy Gobert on the team.
But Ricky Rubio was an excellent assist man.
Exactly.
He would pass the ball to everybody.
Yeah. My point on Taylor Horton Tucker is he's undersized for the shooting guard position.
Yep.
So, and that's what he played in. That's basically what his predominant role was in college. It was a shooting guard. He needs to be able to adapt to become a point guard in this league, or he's just not going to have a position in the NBA.
Yeah.
And now's his time. He's got the keys to the castle. He's got the reins to this team. He needs to figure it out.
They're giving Talon Horton Tucker as much of a shot as they can possibly give him, and at the cost of sacrificing games at this point. I mean, they're okay losing a few games right now as long as he can find his niche and get in there. I mean, the dude's not even 23 years old yet. He dude, and it's funny because he doesn't look like that. Every time I see him, I always think he's a little bit older.
I think he's like 28, 29.
But he's not even 23. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he's a really young player. He's really raw. He's shooting the best he has actually ever shot the three this season.
Yeah. So, yeah. And that's the problem, you know.
Yeah.
How do we fix this, man? Do we just wait for him to figure it out, or do we make a trade? Do the Jazz even care? What's your take on that, where we're sitting?
I mean, the Jazz need a facilitator that can be a 3-point threat, in my opinion. Right. Somebody that can shoot the ball, but is also willing. They need Mike Conley. What they need is Mike Conley.
I doubt we're going to have him available.
Yeah. I don't know if he's especially because Minnesota looks really good right now.
Yes, they do.
They looked really tough the other night, and Mike Conley was very much a part of that.
Absolutely.
And I like to refer to them as the Jazz 2.0 because they do got Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So they've got a whole ton of players over there.
Yeah.
Almost as many as the Cavs have.
Yeah.
The Cavs got, they got obviously Donovan, Neto, George Niang.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
And don't they have Jay Crowder? Who's he with now?
Oh, no. He went to, wasn't he with the Bucks?
Oh, he is with the Bucks.
Yeah.
You're right. He's with the Bucks this year.
I don't know, man. Jazz players all over the place. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think we're going to find out real quick what the Jazz are going to do. I mean, if they're not in on the first big market free agent point guard that comes out that's available that wants out or what have you, if they're not in on that, I think we know which way the Jazz are going this year.
Exactly, and that's exactly it. If there's any rumors that start flying about somebody becoming available and the Jazz aren't in the talks, then you know that this is just the path they're going.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're okay with getting a draft pick. They're okay with using these minutes to develop these young players. But if that's the case, then let's use them to develop the players. Let's use them. Let's get Keontae on the floor, right?
Let's get Hendricks and Sensabaugh out there. They're averaging 2 minutes a game right now.
Like, yeah, let's get them.
What are we doing?
Yeah, they're averaging garbage time minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, let's get them out there and get some run time. Let's see what these guys actually have. That's my opinion.
Yeah, we got commenters mentioning, Taylor Hendricks still has great upside. We'd love to see it.
He's a number 9 draft or number 8 draft pick.
Yeah,
of course, he's got ridiculous upside.
Yeah, we'd love to see him play. So, anyways, let us know in the comments down below, Jazz fans, what you think. Do you think the Utah Jazz are in a bit of a point guard conundrum here? Do you think they have a chance to turn this around? Do you think they'll go for it and try and get a point guard at the trade deadline? Or do you think they're just kind of phoning it in and being okay with this to develop young talent? Let us know in the comments down below for sure.
Absolutely.
You got anything else?
That's what I got, man.
Go
Jazz.
Go Jazz. That's right. Once again, folks, keep in mind this is available as a podcast, a video podcast for everything we talked about. It's going to be available in our playlist. You'll see it on that end of the title card there to see everything we talked about throughout the world of sports this week. And it's also available audio only wherever you get your podcasts.
Yep. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like it, make sure you share it, and make sure you subscribe. Like Darren mentioned a little bit ago, we are on the grind to 1,000 subscribers. We are doing a giveaway. Once we get monetized, we're looking to give away $500 to 5 different subscribers that we're going to randomly pick. Make sure you get in there and get that money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And keep in mind, folks, if we get this video to 100 likes, we'll go ahead and give away one of these sweet DNA t-shirts.
Yep. Smash the like button. We appreciate you guys.
My name is Darren. This is AJ, and this has been the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.